So I'm here with Brian Cashman. Brian, let's grade the first half of the season. That's an easy one to start with.
Some things are A+ and other things are failures. So I think it's more positional related, and then timing of year. April and May was flying high. June was a disaster, and as we enter July, we're still trying to stop some of that bleeding.
What is this team, though? Is it the team that started off 21-9 or the team that struggled?
Well, I think when the team's on the field, it's more the team that started off 29, whatever that record you touched on was. So, but the injuries have affected things, and then, some surprising, combination of bad performance simultaneously from the bullpen, because that's affected, obviously, our last 3 weeks. Once we hit that Anaheim road trip 3 weeks ago, between the CC hamstring, which we gassed the bullpen that day, and then injuries, we have been trying to catch up and resuscitate, and we have failed in doing so.
Now, one of the ways that you've been doing it is bringing up a lot of the young kids. Have they impressed you, or are they fruit that you had to pick before they were ripe? Would you rather they still be down in the minor leagues?
I'd say in most cases we were picking on fruit before they're ready. You saw for instance, Ronald Herrera flying into Anaheim same day, pitching in the 8th inning out of Double-A. Clint Frazier, despite, what he's done, which is really, impressive, he's not a finished product yet. One we're excited by. You got Tyler Wade up here. So you got a lot of guys right now that are, and in many cases, especially relief-wise, are being called upon to do things in categories that they shouldn't be, but that's part of the Major League Baseball season. So that's what you have to do when you scramble on the run and try to plug holes. Obviously, in the next 3 weeks, Hal Steinbrenner, myself, and our entire staff will be trying to do a better job of legitimately plugging holes if possible.
Now, last year, you guys made some tough decisions. Legitimately, you were still in a playoff hunt, and you decided to be sellers, and you really restocked the farm system. You're in a playoff hunt again. Are you buyers or sellers this season?
I think that our interest would be buyers. But I think that we're, going to be careful buyers. We have a long-term plan that I think people are seeing, the excitement from, and we're definitely not going to deviate from that. But we also, part of that long-term plan is in the short term winning now and putting out the best effort possible, but not at the expense of, what we feel can lead us to more championships, plural. And so I think everything we're going to try to do is going to be on the in the context of improving us now, as well as how's it continue to improve us in the future. So if we can find that balancing act and retain the players that we desperately need to retain, whatever we do, it's going to hurt. That's the nature of the beast. But that's I think at least the walk we're trying to walk.
Now, Brian, obviously, the black hole for this team has been first base. That wasn't the plan if Greg Bird had been healthy. Will you guys be looking for a first baseman? Can you still hope that Greg Bird will get back and contribute in the second half?
Hey, listen, I know it's an area of frustration, not only for us, for Greg, and for our fan base. I mean, first base has been horrific. But we have been, or I have been, kicking the can down the line a little bit, waiting to get a definitive on Greg. He's dealing with issues that we're, sending him everywhere possible to find a definitive answer to. And he's the best scenario. I mean, this guy's a hell of a ball player when right and when healthy. And he's been unhealthy, obviously, for the first half. That was something unexpected. It's gone on, for an extended period of time. And so our hope is still to wait. He's going to see the next doctor on Monday. We'll maybe get more information, new information, the same information. We don't know yet. But at the end of the day, our personal preference is this guy should be man in first base for years to come. And we're doing everything we can with him, his agency, to find the answers to the questions that currently ail him. So, but if not, we'll try to fix it. But with keeping in mind that Greg Bird is still the future first baseman.
I always looked at this organization and what you've built with the young players, and I said probably the ETA for a championship team was 2019. I know you guys want to get under the threshold next year, but has it happened quicker than you thought? Sometimes, I mean, the team you're playing, Milwaukee, seems like it's happening quicker than it thought for them. You guys always come in trying to win, but realistically, is this better than you thought it would be when you had that run, in April and May?
It's hard to predict players when they start to approach their ceiling. So you actually assume it's going to take, in most cases, those baby steps of growth. But just like when Robbie Cano hopped in and became an impact player rather quickly, when you have that type of talent that the Judges possesses, or Sanchez possesses, or Severino possesses, amongst others, when it all clicks together, it can come like immediately. And so watching, we take great pride in watching a Gary Sanchez come up and have the most offensive year of his career at the most opportune time, his maiden voyage. Same with Aaron Judge. So are we surprised? It's in some cases, in Sanchez's case and in Judge's case, it was instantaneous, if not more than you would have expected. Yeah, we're surprised pleasantly, but we also know they're capable of that. And Sevy's obviously backing up everything we've ever seen about him outside of the aberration, which was 2016. So we're pleased, surprised, proud. And we have more coming, and that's where it's really, something we're working through with our staff, from analytics to pro scouting to player development. We had our coordinators up here with all player development staff in 2 days of meetings, just trying to peel the onions on who these are in the present, who these guys can be in the future, and making sure we prep them out properly, because this is all about trying to place safe bets on what you have, what your assets really are, and what they can become injury-free wise. And so we're working hard to drill on all that stuff, as we've been over the last number of years.
All right, final thing. Is this team good enough? Can you make it good enough to win a World Series this year?
I think it's possible. I mean, listen, first of all, to be in it to win it, you got to get in. And once you're in, that's anybody's game. And it's who's playing the best baseball at that time. We got to find a way to get ourselves back to October, so we can try to make some noise. And if we can get into October and we find our stride at the right time, you saw what we did in April and May with everybody we had, and that wasn't with reinforcements. Depending on what we want to doing. And listen, we hope to do something, but I'm not going to guarantee anything's going to happen. I can promise you this: we're going to take a lot of great pains and efforts to have conversations all over the board, make recommendations. But I wish at some point, times like you'll just see if we conclude something, you'll see what the results were from that, who we gave up, who we got, and then people will judge it from that. What doesn't typically happen is the deals you turn down, and you don't usually share that, but. So far, I can tell you sticker prices are pretty high, and I'd like to think our fan base would be happy that we're saying no to a lot of things that have currently been presented to us. But you keep working through it.